Sark Wetzel, how you doing, man?
Okay, Dave.
Tell me where you are right now.
I am in Honolulu. I'm here for work, um, working down at the docks on ships.
Yeah.
But I live on Kauai. But I come here to for basically for work and to visit family.
So you're in
Okay.
Hawaii now. You were born and raised in Hawaii. I was raised in Hawaii, but I'm now in Brooklyn, New York. But you and I went to school together back in the 80s. We went
Yep.
to, and all
Seventh grade. What year was that?
I think that was 82 or 83.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I came from Honolulu in after sixth grade and started seventh grade at Punahou.
Let's start with your parents. Let's
Okay.
talk about your mom. What was her name? Who was she?
She's still alive. She's actually right over here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Her name's Beverly. Maiden name is Owens. She's born and raised right here in Honolulu. Um, and then my dad's Gary Wetzel. He's from Ohio originally, but came to Hawaii back when he was in the Navy, and then was here, and then ended up going to college and stuff, and then came back to Hawaii to live here, and was a framing contractor. So built a lot of houses, probably, I don't know, close to maybe 600 houses or so in Oahu's building boom back in the like late 70s, 80s, that era. You know,
Is he still alive?
yeah, they're both still alive. I'm lucky.
It's great.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
did your parents meet?
I think they met in a bar, Waikiki.
Back
You
in
know,
the 60s.
yeah, yeah. They were actually, my parents were not together that long. I was raised when my mom remarried my stepdad.
What's your
So,
stepdad? What's your stepdad's name?
Philip Spalding the third. He's a old time Kama'aina family, from Hawaii. You know, his roots in Hawaii go way back. That's Sage's dad. So we were all raised. You know, I was
Your
raised
brother,
with Sage. Yeah, Sage
brother
and
Sage.
and yeah, my stepdad Phil, or they call him P3. He's the one that has Molokai ties. So that's what we spent a lot of time on Molokai growing up as kids.
So tell me more about your mom's family. You're part Hawaiian, right?
Yep, my mom is Hawaiian.
So
Her
what?
family goes back to mostly from Maui. That's where the most of the relatives are now. Um, she has I don't know, 50 something cousins or something, you know, and they're all, you know, in their 70s and 80s now, you know. So I mean, if everybody got together and had a family reunion, it'd be huge. And we used to have when we were younger, and it would, you know, we'd go to Maui, and but that was like kind of a generation maybe that passed away was keeping that going together, but now it's just a big, you know, everybody's spread out. But yeah, they met here in the shit. That would have been the, you know, 68, 69, because they weren't together that long, you know. Like, but my dad was, you know, they let him be part of my life, which is cool, you know. So I got to spend a lot of weekends and stuff with him, you know, back in the day.
What was the feeling like between spending time with your dad and then spending time with your mom and her family?
Um, my dad was partying, you know, in those days. So there was like a lot of like, you know, but he worked really hard too, you know. He was like you know, he would have his you know, have his after work Pauhana beers, you know. But it would always get up and go to work, uh and then he was into sports too, you know. He got me to, you know, sign me up for AYSO and Little League and, you know, basketball, and you know, so that was a good influence. But mostly working, you know, and then I worked with him since I was a little kid, you know. was like sweeping up the job sites, like 8 years old for like slave wages, like child slavery, like $1 an hour or something. But it taught me a good work ethic and a skill set of being a carpenter and learning all that stuff. I still rely on that today. I could go work full time, and I do when I'm at home for long stretches. I work with a crew of guys building houses. So it's something I learned from my dad. Yeah.
And then when you'd spend time with your mom, what was that atmosphere like?
Oh, she was a more nurturing, caring, aloha. You know, or my dad was like a hard ass, yell and stuff on the job site, throw tantrums and stuff. So I got to hate it. Actually, I hated working at one point. I just hated working for him, and just work in general. And then, but now I look back on it, and I was like, well, I was like instilled some good shit. Hard work, survival skills, and work hard, and you know.
At the time when you were spending time with your dad and working, did you feel like it was unfair that you had to work and maybe you saw friends that were not working construction sites when they were kids?
Uh, no, because I was making more money than them. You know, back in those days, like $10 an hour was fucking huge, right? Sure beats what whenever it was 325 Baskin Robbins or something.
And when you were growing up, and what was your understanding of, being Hawaiian? What did that mean to you? What did your mom say? What did your dad say about it? Did it affect how you thought about yourself at all?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we grew up around Hawaiian stuff, Hawaiian music, Hawaiian, you know, hula and stuff. And then there's, the ocean part of us too, like me and my brother Sage, canoe paddling, that's identifying with being Hawaiian, surfing.
Are you what's called a waterman?
I guess I would be, yep.
So for people who are not from Hawaii, what is a waterman?
Just someone that's comfortable in the ocean in all kinds of conditions and doing different things.
It's like a respected term, right? I mean, it's like someone who, they surf, they can do it all in the ocean, which most people wouldn't feel comfortable even putting their foot in.
Well, I mean, if you grew up in Hawaii, you would be comfortable with it, That's a beautiful thing about, growing up here. You get to become comfortable with it in the ocean and your surroundings, and you learn to respect nature, So yeah. Canoe paddling. Actually, my daughter's paddling right now too. She's going out for the Kamehameha ILH paddling right now. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I still surf. I still, it's the only thing that really keeps me young, I think. I make it a point to, I just got a new board the other day, in fact. And where we live on Kauai, there's some really good waves.
Who taught you how to surf?
Let's see. I mean, just like getting pushed in as a tiny kid, probably, my dad probably, even though he wasn't a surfer, he would just take me out and push me on the board, and then just one of those things, and then you get the stoke, and then when you get, around, I think it was like, how old were you in 6th grade?
I think 10, right? 10 or 11.
That's when I got the hook. 6th grade. And then I was surfing down. Would surf, because he lived in Kaimuki, so I'd surf down at Tongs a lot. And that's where I met Buck Giles. And then and then I saw him at Punahou. That was before I started Punahou. So I think, yeah. And something I'm still all about it now. Maybe not the big stuff. Right, I ran into the other day, and he's surfing, tell me he just surfed Waimea with his son, was freaking Sean Clark. I bumped to him at City Mill.
And he's surfing the big waves out at Waimea.
Yeah. Last week it was freaking like 20 feet. It was like closeout sets.
So
what are you doing at this age? You're freaking going out there. He's, oh no, it's my son. My son wants to go. My son drags him out. I was like, oh, that's pretty respectable.
So you're not going to go out in 20-foot waves?
No way. No way. Those days are over. In my 20s, I was. Early 20s. Not now. No way. I'm freaking drown.
So you mentioned that the Spalding family, your stepfather.
They were with the first group of missionaries. So he goes way back. His family came on like one of the first missionary boats from the East Coast. That goes back to the 1830s. That's a long time in Hawaii. And then his family was part of the Castle and Cook, the Big Five. And then his family, the Cook side of his family was Molokai Ranch. Back in the heyday of Molokai Ranch, they ran it. This is back in like the 40s and 50s, and so it was all. That's how his family's was involved. They've been involved with Molokai for a long time. Not anymore though. The ranch sold and stuff, but I don't know. They don't really have much anymore. You know, it's kind of a glory days and divorces and shit, and just people kind of dwindle down to not much left anymore. Where the Academy of Arts, that was another part of his family that they actually owned. That place was their house, and then they donated it.
So when you first came to Punahou, how did that come about? How did your family decide that you were going to go to Punahou?
Because that's where you went, right? Who doesn't want their kid to go to Punahou? I mean, come on. Especially back then, it's pretty clear choice. If you got in, you're gonna go, right? Starting 7th grade.
Yeah. 7th grade.
Yeah.
When you showed up, where did you come from when you came to Punahou in 7th grade?
Honolulu.
Talk about that. Like, what for people who don't know?
It was another. I don't know if it was missionary established, but it's another really good school that was on that same, and the same families went there. Actually, that's where my stepdad went. He actually went there with Tom Giles. They're in the same class at Honolulu when they're in 1st grade or something. Yeah. So yeah, no, that was a good time. Actually, it was a really good school. I'd love to be able to, I look back at those days. Those Honolulu days are like the best of life. Maybe.
When you came to Punahou, I remember you had a big scar down the front of your face. What happened? Yep. Just give us the story of what happened and how that affected you.
It's just on my forehead here. This is a scar. So it's like we were doing something stupid as kids, or we weren't being supervised very well. Just flew out. I was sitting on the hood of a truck, and while the truck was moving, and went head first off. So, but hey, it was back then, we didn't even wear seatbelts or anything, you know what I mean? They didn't even have cars. Did they have car seats or like some ancient thing, No, like, oh wait,
Well, you were just a kid. How did that affect you to have an accident that bad that changed the way you looked?
It was like it was like a kind of a second chance on life. I looked at it, You know what I mean? Like maybe, I shouldn't have been here. Or just feel lucky that I am here,
So you took a positive lesson from the thing. You could have been filled with despair, but you said, "Hey, I'm alive."
Yeah, exactly.
I don't recall you being very broken up about being injured, or you seem to be pretty chill about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
As you got into high school, how did you consider yourself vis-a-vis the other students? Like, did you feel like you played a certain role, or you were in a certain group, or how did you compare?
That's the thing. That's the weird thing about Punahou. They want to put you in a group, right? I don't know. I don't know why it shouldn't be like that. It's just, you know, just, I don't know, certain people, right? You're going to be drawn to. Certain people are bad influences. Other people are good influences.
Well, Punahou, maybe because it was pre-internet, or maybe it was either the time or just the institution, but there were a lot of cliques, right? I mean, there was different groups of kids that would hang out together, and they were kind of associated with each other. So, I mean, what clique were you part of, or did you try not to be part of a clique? How did you think about it?
I don't know. I always wanted to surf. So whoever wanted to surf, you know, but then I like the other stuff, you know, I like the, you know, different people from different places, you know, obviously, you know, from different cliques. Can't just be in one clique. You know?
Would you say that you're generally pretty happy during your high school years?
Oh, looking back on it now, fuck, I wish I tried harder. Right? What a great opportunity to go to Punahou, and then you just like fuck off, or more interested in being cool, or going surfing, or like chicks, or you know what I mean? You know, all that, it just seems like a waste, like, you know.
Do you think you're interested in being cool?
Who isn't?
Well, some people are interested, but they're not good at it. I think you're pretty good at
it. No, it's cool to be square.
You're really into building ships, you know, sailing. Where
No,
did you
not
come from? Who did you learn that from?
well. We went to the Maritime Academy, so that's why we have jobs in our in the fields that we do. Sage, because Sage went there too. Um, it's actually, it's a good idea. I'm always pushing on high school age kids. It's just a great way to you know, it's a good career path for the right person. So we went to Merchant Marine Academy. So they train, you know, then they train the next generation of professional mariners that go to sea. It's like officer school for the Merchant Marine. They're going to sea or working on anywhere in the industry, you know. They have engineering, and they also have what we're on it's split between deck and engine. So like, you know, we're on the side of like loading the ship and like doing the stability, and then actually driving the ship and navigating the ship. Whereas the engineers are just like, you know, they're running the plant. But that academy is a good place to get a mechanical engineering degree, and it's like a hands-on thing. And who knows where you can take that? You don't have to work on ships.
You've built Hawaiian style like outrigger canoes, right?
Yeah, that's not a ship. That's just like, I got into fiberglass work, learning how to do that kind of stuff. Just by started off by like fixing surfboards, dinghy repair, and then like for the canoe club, oh, they smashed their canoe, and then like I went up, you know, and I learned how to like actually like do fiberglass repairs on boats and stuff, and then one thing led to another, and just you know, learned some different techniques and from different people, you know, growing different boat builders and a couple master guys. I spent a little bit of time around like watching them build one-man canoes, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm really interested in that. Like, I'm interested in boat building and you know, composites and different techniques. You know, because there's a lot of different ways. You know, so I built sailing canoes, surfing canoes, and then I built power boats. Like right now, I'm actually rebuilding a power boat that's actually for us, for the family, so we can go out, like, you know, take the boat out and go fish. And
Going back to Punahou, like, do you remember any particular stories or just any incidents or memories?
I don't know. I remember going to Germany.
That was big. I mean, so talk. So was that an important event for you?
Of course, who isn't going to be? You know, I mean, that was fun.
How'd you get interested in why German? Is Wetzel a German name?
Yes. Yeah. So I took German and with you, 7th grade.
How's your German?
Frau von Platten. Nee. Schlecht. Actually, my good friend has a girlfriend from Germany, and I was trying to talk to her the other day. And how's yours?
Oh, not good. Nicht sehr gut. Ich habe mein Deutsch total vergessen.
I remember the Hawaiian Studies guy, remember? Mr. Crouch. I thought that was cool. He was one of the OG Ohokulea guys. And I remember he did like a little presentation. I thought that was pretty before its time, you know. They've taken that whole voyaging canoe thing to a whole nother level with the different generations, you know, and all the different programs and high schools, all kinds of cool stuff is going on right now that we didn't have.
What's something about your life that you think people would be surprised to learn, or you think they should know?
Just trying to be a good person and live a good life and raise my kids right, you know. Just trying to be a good, good person, you know. Treat people how you want to be treated. Takes, you want respect, you have to give respect.
Sark Wetzel, aloha. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Dave. Aloha.
Really appreciate it.